In this video, I'm going to share with you an indicator that really makes our lives a lot easier. This is a professional indicator that my team and I use, and we recommend it to our beginners. So if you want to get a powerful indicator, make sure to watch this video. I'll share all the settings, all the entry points, and you'll be able to use this indicator on your own, because this really is an advanced indicator. So I won't drag this out. Let's get into the video. For example, the currency pair British pound to Canadian dollar. Right from here, we can open our sell trade. Let's open a sell trade for 1500 and see why I'm doing this. Look, we can see that at the moment the indicator is showing this kind of movement. That is, our blue line, which signals a buy, is coming down to zero. And actually, we have 3 entry points. From the blue line, from the red line, and from the zero line. You can't really see it though. That's a downside of this indicator, that you can't see that 0 point. But if we zoom in, we can see that the indicator is very clearly divided into 2 parts, a blue zone and a red zone, and, accordingly, the 0 point runs right between these 2 lines. And so, thanks to this indicator, we can understand when the market is overbought and when a reversal is coming. At the moment of reversal, that's exactly when we can enter a trade in advance. So, we open a trade already knowing that a reversal is about to happen, and that we can profit from it. I'm not going to use a trading robot. I'll be doing only analysis with this indicator. It's quite advanced, and to really understand it and figure it out, we'll need to practice a bit. As you can see, the indicator is indeed sometimes complicated, sometimes tough, but once we understand it, once we get how it works, we immediately see a lot of entry points. So let's just break down an example. Look, for example, right here our blue line touched the 0 point, so that's our entry point. Accordingly, we mark it with an arrow and see that right here we could have entered a buy trade. Next, let's keep looking. Again, our blue line touches the 0, and right from here we could have entered a buy trade, and here we could have entered a buy trade again. So that's already 2 entry points here. Let's keep looking. Here again, our blue line touches the 0, and we see that's 1 entry point, and here's a second entry point. So in total, we already had 5 entry points here. Let's keep looking. Here our blue line touches the 0 again, and right here we could have entered a buy trade. We could have entered a buy trade here as well. So, as you can see, there are actually a lot of entry points. And the most important thing to remember is that when the price comes from the upper boundary to the 0 line, we enter on the rebound for a duration from 1 minute to about 3 minutes. That's the working range. That's what I recommend you remember. How do we work differently? If, for example, the price at the moment, or rather, not the price, but the indicator value, enters the orange line, we open a trade from there on the rebound for the same duration, 1 to 3 minutes. And in the same way, from the blue line, we'll also trade on the rebound. Later in this video, I'll go through all these examples, and together we'll look at all these trades, all these cases. But before that, I want to say that you can get the settings for this indicator right now in our Telegram channel, which is waiting for you at the link in the description. Go check it out. There you'll find an even more detailed manual. So go ahead, grab all the settings, and start trading with this indicator. It's actually a very simple tool that's suitable for all beginners, even though it might look pretty complicated. Now, let's move on to the examples. Here's a situation right now, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. At this moment, the price, or more precisely, the indicator value, is approaching the 0 line. So, I can choose this currency pair. Let's pick it, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. The payout here is good, so I'm opening a $1,500 buy trade right from here. Why am I doing this? Look, this indicator also shows us the trend direction. The blue line indicates an uptrend, the red line indicates a downtrend. So, I see that the blue line is approaching 0. That means we enter on the rebound, look for confirmation, and see that we actually have an uptrend. So these 2 simple factors, yes, you still need to spot them, yes, you still need to find them, and only after that do I open my buy trade. And next, I'll show you, if you actually scroll through all the currency pairs, there are very few situations where you can really make money. So this indicator isn't that simple after all, and we'll need time to find entry points. That's its downside, but the safety it provides in trades, I think it's worth it. At the last moment, the trade closes in profit. Nice move. Yeah, I should have entered earlier, right when the indicator values first hit this level. That is, right here. As you can see, I entered a bit later, so my trade was already risky, but even so, it still brought me a good profit. Let's look at another example. On the US dollar to Canadian dollar pair, we can see a similar situation. That is, there's also an upward movement here, and we can try to jump into the trade at the last moment. Let's reduce the risk just in case, since I really am taking a risk here. So ideally, I should have opened the trade right here. But still, we have an upward movement going on. The price, our blue line, touches the 0 line. And so from here, I want to open my buy trade. But since I'm entering this trade late, I've decided not to take too much risk and to cut my risk in half down to $700. By the way, this is a good approach. If you're not confident in your trade, you can just not open it at all. But if you feel like you need to test out some theory, then you can reduce your risk. For example, if you used to trade with $1,000, start opening trades for $600 or $500. That way, you'll protect yourself in the future and at the same time test out this strategy. So, if you're scared or not completely sure whether this trade will end up in profit or not sure it'll go into loss, then just lower your trade size and take the risk. Yeah, as you can see, that's the situation. Basically, I should have entered right here from the start, and then I would have caught a good move. Alright, I suggest we stop taking these empty moves at the last moment. This is actually a really good, clear example for beginners too. As soon as the price touches our middle line, that's when we should enter the trade right away. So, I actually missed a big opportunity here. I could have opened my trade here, but instead I ended up entering somewhere around here. And as a result, I only caught a very small move. We can see that ourselves from the result. That's why I advise you not to hesitate. As soon as you see the movement, when the price touches either the upper, middle, or lower boundary, open a trade for a bounce right away. And another thing, if you go through all the currency pairs, there will be very few situations like this. That's really the main downside I was talking about. And when you get situations like this, where your indicator, its upper part, shows that we should be selling, but the histogram is in a buy state, it's better to skip those two, because these two factors can overlap incorrectly and, as a result, we might make a mistake. That's why we only work in these specific cases. Then everything works well for us. Or, we wait until the price, for example, like here, touches the upper boundary, and then we enter on the rebound. So, in this case, everything works well. But in all other situations, it's better for us to skip these moves. Although on the Euro-Australian dollar, let's select this currency pair and now open our trade for sale, also for $700. I won't change the risk right now. What can we see here? First of all, the color of the indicator itself is orange here, which means it's telling us to sell. Next, let's look. The histogram was also orange, and accordingly, here we have a downward movement, and we return to this line again, as you can see. And after this touch, we can enter a sell trade. Right now, I entered at the very top, and in theory, I should have an excellent entry point. Just like the entry points I missed the previous times. It's a great trade, very safe. And yes, it brings me a small profit, but nevertheless, we can see how the strategy works. It's truly a working strategy. Any beginner can repeat it just by practicing a bit. There's nothing complicated here. And you can even look at the history to see how well everything works out for us, how we successfully handled every touch. You can find the settings for this indicator, how to find it, and how to use it by following the link in the description. If you have any questions about this indicator, just write to our support account. By the way, if you want even more strategies and ready-made indicators, then subscribe to our Telegram channel. There you'll find even more information about trading that will help you make money. In general, for beginners, as an alternative to a trading robot or complicated studies and complex technical analysis, this indicator is a great fit. You don't need to buy it. It's available for free. And I'll leave all the links in our Telegram channel. So, subscribe to the Telegram channel and grab all these settings from there. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment below, and see you soon.